Welcome to my channel. It has been a while. I have not filmed in probably 2-3 weeks now, and I am so excited to be back. I just recently moved. As you can tell, the background is different. I'm filming in my new bedroom. Love it. It has been crazy, whirlwind, chaotic, stressful time, but I finally pretty much finished unpacking and we're all settled, and so I felt like today's the day to start filming again. I was going through my YouTube videos and checking out things that have been most requested by you guys so that I could actually really start filming really informative and helpful tutorials. And on my wing liner technique for hooded lids and downturned eyes. I will leave a link to that video down below if you haven't seen it, but it is actually my most popular video. I've gotten the most likes, comments, and requests on it for more tutorials that are helpful for people with eye shapes like mine, and so I decided that I would do another one today. Today I wanted to show you guys how I apply eyeshadow to my eye shape, and I know that it seems like kind of a silly video to do, but when you have downturned eyes and hooded lids, you know the struggle. You know that it's hard to make your eye makeup visible once you open your eyes because of the hooded lids, because it all disappears behind them. And when your eyes are downturned as well, if you're not careful, all of the color on the outer corners can actually exaggerate the droopiness. The same when you do wing liner. You want to do a technique that helps actually create a more lifted look. So that's what this tutorial is all about. It's about how I apply my eyeshadow in a way that makes my eyes look more lifted. I'm not wearing any wing liner because I wanted you guys to see that you can use this technique to create a more lifted look without having to use liner as well. You can totally add wing liner to this look too if you want. It would look great. I just wanted you guys to see the eyeshadow in its entirety by itself. So if you guys are at all interested in seeing how I apply my eyeshadow, then go ahead and keep watching. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about my eye shape. I have hooded eyes, and that is when you apply eyeshadow to the crease, and when you open your eye, it disappears behind your lids. And so you have to have a different technique for your eye shape so that when you open your eyes, you can still see the eyeshadow that you applied. And then I also have downturned eyes. So the outer corners of my eyes extend below or lower than the inner corners of my eyes, creating that like slanted look to them. And this is especially difficult when applying wing liner, but it even is difficult when applying eyeshadow because you want to have the eyeshadow up higher here on the outer corners of the eye to give that illusion of a more lifted eye. And so it just takes a little bit of tweaking. When you have an eye shape that is very different, very downturned, very hooded, it just does not look the same as someone who doesn't have downturned eyes or hooded lids. So it's not that we can't do the same eye looks, it's that we have to kind of tweak it and do different techniques to make it work for our eye shape. The eyeshadow palette that I'm using for this tutorial is the Studio Makeup on the Go palette. I got this in BoxyCharm and I love it. BoxyCharm has sent 2 of these palettes since I've joined with them, and it's the warm tone one, but they also sent a cool tone one, which I use all the time as well. But you can tell this is well loved by me. But it's got all these beautiful warm tone shades to use. I wanted to do a really neutral eye for this tutorial just so that we could stay basic, but I'll still do like a smoky eye and have it dramatic enough so you can see the technique that I do and see a smoky eye on someone with the same eye shape. So enough rambling, I'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is grab a fluffy brush. This one is by Luxie. It's a 205. So I'll go ahead and grab this brown right here and make sure to tap it out. The whole idea to doing the eyeshadow for downturned eyes, which this is for hooded and downturned eyes, you want to keep it higher than your natural crease here. As I keep my eye open, but I'm like looking at my lid like this, I use my eye socket here as a guide. So as you can see, my eye socket is higher than my crease. So I'm going to take this transition shade up there and start it there. So you see where my lid is right here in the center of my eye? It starts to go downward once I come kind of on the outer side of my eye here. So I want to keep it straight out from the center of my lid here, the center of the crease, and just kind of go straight out. I don't want to bring it too far down because I don't want to exaggerate the droopiness of my eye shape. So again, I'll start here in the center and then I'll just kind of go straight out and blend back and forth, not taking it down too far. keeping it high and really like pushing it into the eye socket. And then I just kind of buff it up so that the color, see my eyes open, you can still see it. Now the whole time that I apply eyeshadow, I keep my eyes open because then I know that where I'm placing is still visible when my eyes are open. I hope that makes sense. So just adding a little bit more color, again, starting here in the center of the eye and buffing it out, keeping it high, just like that. And there you go. And then the next thing I'm going to do is grab a smaller blending brush. This is the Luxie 237, and I want to pick up kind of a mixture of these two darker brown shades here because I want to add a lot of definition to the outer corner of the eye. And so I'm just going to pick up a combo of those two. Now because my lid is downturned here, I don't want to really do an outer V where my natural crease is here. What I usually do, this is what I do to help myself, is I start here kind of like I would do wing liner, where my bottom lash line would just kind of continue up, and I just add some shadow there, just like that. And then I'll just eyeball where the middle of my eyelid is there, and then eyeball extending it out to meet that corner. And then I'll just add some color there. So you see there, I'm creating a new outer corner of my eye. So you can see my natural lid goes kind of downward, but I'm bringing up a new line, and I bring it forward a little bit. This is so much harder to explain, but hopefully me explaining it and also showing you guys how to do it makes enough sense. Again, so I'm just gonna blend this down, bringing it in towards the center of my lid. Not adding any more color because I want to have like that gradient effect. I don't want it to be too dark on the lid. Just really want to focus most of the color here on the outer corner. So you can see this eye already looks more lifted than this one. And this is great because you can have this like lifted kind of cat eye effect with just shadow, not even have to use liner to do it. Like that. And then I'm going to take that same fluffy brush that I used earlier. I'm going to come in just where the transition shade and that darker brown meet, and I'm going to blend it out to smooth out those lines. And then I'll go ahead and even come on the lid and just lighten up that transition a little bit. Like that. And then the next step is I grab kind of a flat brush like this. This is a Vera Mona brush. It's just kind of a flat eyeshadow brush, and I like to spray a little bit of fixing spray on there. This is actually just a Pure Bliss makeup setting spray. I love this stuff. It's organic, no additives, just really, it's a plant-based setting spray. And then I want to grab some of this kind of shimmery cream color here, and I'm going to place that all over the lid. So I'll kind of start here where the brown fades. And then this is another thing that I like to do to make the lid look larger than it actually is. I'm going to come up to where the socket is again, so I kind of keep my eye open but close it enough to where I can see where that line should be, and I kind of push it into the socket and then kind of run it down, and that creates a new line for my lid. Then continuing that out here just to meet the brown, and then go ahead and pack the shadow on the rest of the lid. I'll even come in with my finger sometimes and just use that to add a little bit more pigment. A little fallout on my nose. No big deal. And then I'll go ahead and grab that same Luxie blending brush, the Luxie 205 again, and just blend where those two colors meet. Just get rid of any harsh lines. So it's nice and blended. And then a lot of times I'll come back in with that same transition shade I used in the beginning just to add a little bit more warmth up there if I feel like it kind of disappeared behind the rest of the shadows that I applied. And then I'll grab a blending brush. This is just a BH Cosmetics blending brush that has no product on it at all. And then I will buff out that as well. So as you can see, the eyeshadow is creating that lifted look. It's really helping my eyes just not look as droopy. You can see all of the colors of the shadow that I'm using. They don't disappear behind my eyes because I kept those crease shades higher than my natural crease line, and I also kept the outer corner very lifted, created a new outer V that was higher than my natural one. And so yeah, that is what I do. And then I'll go ahead and do my lower lash line just to kind of show you guys the whole eyeshadow look. I'm gonna grab that palette again, and I'm going to use that transition shade that I used first. This is that Luxie 237 brush, and I want to start on the outer corner where that dark shadow started and just kind of blend it all along my lower lash line. I like using a fluffy brush with the lighter transition shade for this because it creates a really smoked out effect. And then when I add the darker shade, I'll use like a pencil brush or something where I can get more definition right on the lash line. Just like that. All right, and then I'm gonna grab this pencil brush. This is an AC012 Shadow Crease Duet brush by Crown Brush. And I'm gonna use this pencil side of it. And I'll grab a combination of those two brown shades again. And I'll start in the outer corner where the shadows meet. And I wanna keep this really close to my lash line. And then I'll come back in with that same Luxie brush again and just use that to smoke it out and blend those colors a little better. There we go. Now I want to add an inner corner highlight. Just wipe off that pencil brush, and I'll use the pencil brush again. And then I want to use this lightest shimmery shade in this palette. Then I'm going to place that right in the inner corner here and kind of bring it up to meet the shadow, and then also bring it down to meet that brown on my lower lash line as well. And then I'll go ahead and grab a little bit of that and place it right on my brow bone, just to highlight underneath my brows as well. There you have it. I'm going to go ahead and apply the same eyeshadow to the other eye, put on my lashes and all that, and come back and show you guys the finished product. You could totally do a wing liner with this if you want to. I'm not going to today, but I will again leave a link to my wing liner tutorial for hooded lids and downturned eyes down below, so you guys can use that as a reference if you wanted to add a wing liner to this look. Right, and here is the finished product. I just applied my lashes and finished the eyeshadow on my other eye, and yeah, this is basically what I do. This is kind of my go-to neutral smoky eye look. Of course, there are other eyeshadow techniques that are a little bit more complicated, and if you are at all interested in knowing how to do a cut crease for this eye shape or a halo eye or anything like that, and you want a detailed tutorial, leave a comment below and let me know. I would love to set those up for you. I am planning on doing a tutorial for how to apply false lashes to downturned eyes and hooded lids as well, so I hope to get that up in the next week or so stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked this video and if it was informative and helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Love you guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!